Setting up your meeting. All right, we are live. Excellent. All right, we are live on YouTube currently. I would assume we don't have any viewers because I didn't advertise this, but it'll be up on my YouTube channel. Live. Excellent. All right, we are live on YouTube currently. I would assume we don't have any viewers because okay. Apparently I needed to mute YouTube because I just reheard everything I said. All right, welcome to the first ever Quantum Human Design report live stream where I'm going to look at your two Quantum Human Design charts and the reports that you bought off of my website that explain your human design in Quantum Human Design language. I should note here that Quantum Human Design is a trademarked term. And it is Karen Curry Parker's system of human design. I'm going to put into the chat just right now so I don't forget. This is the link where our two participants, let's see, can I participate in the chat? Comments are not supported on private videos. Okay, hold on. I will put in the comments later, or I will put in the comments later a link to where you can get your QHD report on my website and how our two guests, Angela and Lindsay, I got her as Lindsay here. It's fine. Okay, cool. Where they created their charts. So I'm excited to get started and dive into your charts. Let me check my notes and make sure I haven't forgotten it. Oh, I should introduce myself. My name is Dr. Marie Gasper-Holvat. I am a 2/4 emotional time bender, also known as a manifesting generator. And I go by she, her pronouns. I am a certified quantum human design practitioner. I am certified at level 3 and I'm almost done with level 4. Just like 2 more lessons done and then we're going to be finished with the whole curriculum, which level 4 has been quite the mind-blowing and mind-opening experience. I'm also a quantum alignment system practitioner. So I do a combination of intuitive EFT that uses human design, tapping, and Reiki in like a synergistic way. And I think that's enough for my introduction. So I'm going to set the timer for 20 minutes for each of you. That way we make sure we give you equal amounts of time, and also that will give us a little bit of wiggle room in case the discussions go over. And also we have time at the end for specific questions that come up. So who wants to go first? All right, Angela, I'm picking you because you have the more complicated question. So all right. Yep. All right. I started the timer. Okay. So you pre-submitted a question. Do you want to? Oh, hello, Kitty. Oh, you are a chunk. Do you want to rephrase or paraphrase what your question is?
So I was recently made aware that there have been some changes in how the charts are being calculated. And I have invested a lot of time, energy, and effort into my experience of human design. I have taken a foundation course. I've taken the BG5 course where I'm at the point of doing my capstone and was going through all of that material and all that investment of trying to understand my design from the first chart, which had me as a wide split with my throat, heart, and will center open.
All right, so there they are.
All versus right, so the new calculation.
Will center open. That's this chart.
That's where I started many moons ago. And then recently did a recalculation and went, whoa, wait a minute, what happened? And with the new calculation, I now only have the G center now open. Now, I will admit that when I was on my original chart, I had gate envy for the 45. I felt like, man, if I had that 45, my life would be right. Yes. Well, it looks like I really have the 45. So now I'm almost wondering, like, what happened? And I'm trying to integrate my understanding from I'm almost 10 years into my human design
Wow.
understanding. I had my first reading back with Linda Bonnell when she was going by the name Linda Bonnell.
Wow.
Several readings, several charts. I mean, I've been in it for a minute, trying to be
Uh-huh.
this wide split versus, and it looks like the change was in the
Hmm.
moon gate.
Just the
I
one,
don't,
it's just the one moon gate. It's the
yeah,
so it shifted from the 12 over here, the personality side, to the 45 over here.
yeah. So I really, really wanted that 45, and now I have it. So
You
now
manifested it.
I manifested the 45. And so now and I do identify with that um, having the open heart center. I identify that. I've been just a moving, rambling person looking for guidance. And so it makes sense that that's still open, but I'm still trying to integrate from where I was before to and now it looks like I am now. And the number 12, I really identified with the 12 of having the voice and people responding to my voice. And it's
Hmm.
like, okay, I understand that the 45 still has a voice, but I really identified with that 12. So it's like trying to integrate the change from the 12 to the 45. And then, of course, having the will center now filled in and the throat center now. And I'm not using the right terms here, I'm sorry, but
Oh, I switch interchangeably. I usually actually use throat will. I don't use the quantum human design language for the centers because I
yeah,
usually get confused. I actually prefer more like chakra language if I can.
okay,
Um,
okay,
so well, okay. Before I get started on this, can I do a quick sacral session with you?
of course,
Okay. Are you sitting down?
yes.
Um,
Oh, uh-huh,
can we do the Are you sitting down?
uh-huh,
Are you wearing a necklace?
uh-huh,
Do you drink coffee?
uh-uh,
Do you drink tea?
sometimes, uh-huh,
Did you have tea today?
uh-uh,
Do you identify with having a defined sacral?
um,
Are you comfortable with sacral sounds? Okay. Are you stuck in your head right now?
I am because I know that my 59, is unconscious.
Ah, okay. All right, let me try again. Are you sitting down?
Uh-huh,
Are you at home?
uh-huh,
Did you eat a burrito today? Sorry, what'd you say?
uh,
Okay. Do you go through cycles of burnout? Hmm. Um, do you, sorry, let me think through this question. Do you find it easy to talk about yourself? Sorry, I didn't catch that.
uh-uh,
Okay. Uh, if are you sitting down?
uh-huh,
If you set your mind to do something, do you do it?
uh-huh,
Okay. So I'm asking you these questions because having a defined will center has like there's two really strong characteristics to it. One of them is um, depleting it to the point that you burn out. And the other one is just having the willpower to get whatever you want done and doesn't lend, and then you crash and burn. All right, I have a couple more questions for you. Um, are you wearing makeup? Do you have short hair?
uh-uh,
Are you wearing earrings? Do you jump around ahead in terms of getting tasks done?
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh. Do you
Uh,
follow a methodical one step at a time, each step in logical order?
uh,
Okay. So those are two like really defining differences between a generator and a manifesting generator. Um, so I feel strongly from those sacral responses that the new chart really is like, because you sent me these two charts and I'm like, well, maybe the new chart's correct, but like sometimes when you're dealing with charts, like if the old chart felt more correct to you, like maybe you just need to run with that. But what you're telling me, what I'm hearing from your sacral is that indeed the new chart is the one that seems like it is the more accurate one for you. So I'm going to make this one disappear. Or I'll just
and
make
I
this.
identify with that because I'm always, when I'm presented with something, I'm always trying to figure out the quick way to to figure it out.
Most
Or
efficient way. Mm-hmm.
yes, I'm trying to figure out what's necessary, what's not. And then sometimes I do have to go back and do it all over again. But I have always operated stick and move and figure it out as you go. I mean, I really have. I've done that. And so I've operated that way.
That
Sometimes to my
sounds
detriment, but yeah, I'll drag everything along with me. Let's go.
that's totally manifesting generator and defined will. Like that's
Yes,
yeah, that's classic. Um,
yes,
Yeah, I think that there's a major shift for you in terms of
yes,
needing to come to terms with the fact that
yes,
you thought your voice was coming through the 12.
yes.
And the 12 is an individual circuitry, but you're actually coming through 45, which is a tribal circuitry, and it's part of the business circuitry.
Mm.
So it's actually, and it's also a teaching voice. Let me see if there's anything like, tell me about why you were kind of like, oh, I really feel like I resonated with the 12.
Well, it just seems like, and I've heard that I have the ability to say what needs to be said in the moment. And sometimes I
Mm,
speak and I hear my playback and like I don't know what's coming through. It almost feels like it's being channeled through me.
mhm,
And sometimes I'll open my mouth and what comes out, I had no idea where it came from. And was told that could be a trait of the 12. And um, people hear me when I speak. It's like I'm not one of these people that people know. They tend to listen to me. I don't tend to have a hard time getting people to hear me because I'm not
mhm.
one of these chatterboxes. And I was just told that that's a characteristic of the 12. So,
So a lot of things that you're saying are also characteristic of the 45. So the 45
mhm,
has a natural leadership energy. There is nothing that you have to do to be seen as a leader if you're standing strong in your value with the 45.
mhm,
And people are going to be brought along with you if that energy is functioning at its highest vibration, which it sounds like you have a really great gift to be able to do. And then also just like when you speak from the I, like the self, you're sharing your like this is the will center is part of the heart chakra. So you are sharing like from your heart. Your heart chakra is a resource and it's literally coming from your heart. The words are coming from your heart. Um, and so I think that a lot of the things that you're identifying with the 12, you can also apply to the 45. It's just the for one, it's a complete channel. And so
yes.
when you're saying I identified with the 12 a lot, I actually see like if what you're saying, like you're saying a lot of stuff is like it's actually making it to the throat. And in the previous chart, it didn't
Mm,
actually make it to the throat. You would have needed to have someone else's energy to bring that energy to the throat. Whereas, because you would have had to have the 22 defined or pulled
yes,
on someone else's energy. But if that stuff is
yeah,
just coming out of you and
yeah,
your leadership ability just pops out of you, the words that come out,
yes,
that's because it's actually connected to the throat and it's connected to your heart, to your resources and not to your emotional vibration. That's the kicker there is it's related to your the will, like Karen uses the word resource center for the will, being the place where you hold your, like, fill your tank, and hold the resources necessary, and then when it's time to speak those resources out, boom, they come out through the 4521.
Why do you say
So,
it's connected to the heart, though?
well, because the heart chakra, when in 1781 the human design, the centers broke apart. So the will center broke apart from the identity center. I'll show this on screen. The will center here broke apart from this identity center. They're both part of the heart chakra.
Oh, I see. I
And
see.
then the spleen and the emotional solar plexus broke apart from the solar plexus. In terms of the human design chart, they're still an integral chakra. But these two centers are both, like, they're together, they're the heart chakra.
Yeah.
And so it's both your integrity, and your standing in your power and your resources and what you have available to you. And then the identity part is where what lies in the G center, the one that is the heart here.
Awesome.
So,
That makes
yeah.
sense. That makes sense. Can you speak to the unconscious 59 for me, though?
Oh, speak to the unconscious 59. That's a great question.
Because I think that's where I kind of struggle a little bit with the uh-huh. It feels more like uh, constriction and expansion and constriction or contraction more than uh-huh. And I think when I was saying uh-huh, it was more like a feeling in the body.
I get that too with my uh-huh. It's both bodily and um voice. And the fact that, okay, so the 59-6 is not actually connected to your throat. So that you do still have a split. You have a triple split still. Because you've got the sacral connected to the emotional solar plexus, connected to the root, connected to the spleen, but none of that reaches the throat. Your motor, the what makes you a manifesting generator, is the 4521 that that connects you to the throat. So the things that you say are going to come out more as like I statements, but the fact that it's a little more challenging for you, and in this situation currently in our energy field, I don't think that there's anything in my chart that is facilitating your being able to pick up on my energy, to get that directly to the throat. So the fact that it's more of a internal feeling rather than a voiced feeling.
Mhm.
Oh, but there it was. I heard it. It came
What's that?
out.
What's that?
Yeah, it's there.
I
It's
did it?
just it's quiet. In
Okay.
part, it's quiet, I think, because you are emotionally defined. You do have an emotional wave. You're
Yeah.
emotionally defined, actually double emotionally defined with a tribal wave. So both this defines your emotional solar plexus. Oh, I need to make this larger so I can see the numbers. Where's
The
my
4919.
Yeah, there we go. The 59-6 and then the 49-19. Those are both tribal energies. And they no, that's not I just want to make this move out of the way so that I can see your chart better. There we go. They're both and mostly unconscious. They're mostly unconscious. So the fact that you're really having to dig deep for that sound to come out does not surprise me too much. And um I wonder about when you were growing up, the tribal dynamics in your family or your community, and how much that like conditioned the out of you, because you've got this emotional authority that's tribal. If it wasn't safe for you to
It
you've
wasn't.
got, well, there you go. Then you've got some trauma conditioning around your sacral sound. So that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it does. It
Cool.
does.
All right, you've got like 2.5 minutes left. What, got one more
Perfect.
question? Oh, you wanted to
I
know
do.
about money manifesting. Do you want me to go there?
Yes, go there. Yes, please.
All right, so money manifesting, you actually have the money line now with the 4521, which is kind of a silly name, but I mean, there's a lot of aspects of the chart that are involved in money making. But I mean, you do have a lot of the business circuitry. So the 4521, the 44 down here, and I'm pretty sure the 5432 is the other part of the business circuitry as Karen teaches it. So you actually have quite a lot of the like business circuitry for making creating what needs to be sold or served, and then bringing it to the world, making the sale and delivering it, and managing the resources. And the biggest, especially with the defined will, the biggest challenge that you have got to address with money manifesting is, one, making sure that you're constantly restoring your energy tank. So working to rest, because when you have a defined will, you can just go until something knocks you off your feet. And you have to make a deliberate choice. I am going to and oh, you have the 15, so regularly isn't going to work for you. You're gonna need to figure out your cycles, your whatever it is that spontaneously prompts you to rest, and how the universe sends hurricanes your way to show you how to rest, because that's what the 15 is it's the hurricane energy, you know, like the 5 is like summer, winter, spring, fall, etc. The 15 is the hurricane, the, you know, the earthquake, the natural things that we don't expect. So you've got to figure out, how do you use that energy of almost like impulsivity, and harness that for rest, so that you can restore your will center. Because you must deliberately use your will center to force you to rest. Like,
Yes.
you have the power.
That's very true.
With the will center defined, to be like, okay, and now I rest. And you really do need to enforce that, because when you do, then you have, oh, goodness. All right, this is why I said it for 20 minutes, because I have a few more things to say. When you
Thank
do restore that that energy, and make sure that your tank is overflowing, not just full, but like you've rested enough to overflow, then you will have the energy to go forth and use that energy for manifesting whatever the next money thing is. The other thing is with the will, with defined will, well, actually with either defined or undefined will, is self-worth, and finding all the places hidden inside you that where you tell yourself stories that diminish your self-worth. And just, there's lots of ways to flip the script on them. I use this intuitive EFT tapping method, but you can, Karen's got this story lab project that she's using to
I
flip
sat
the
in on that. That
story.
was awesome.
Yay, did you do it?
Yeah, I sat in on that. It was awesome. Yes.
Yay, that's fantastic. So like,
Yes.
do it again, keep doing it again,
Yes.
and find all those places where you're telling stories about your self-worth that you don't want to be telling anymore, and then tell better stories, right?
Yes. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank
Well,
you.
all right. Let's switch over to Lindsay. And no, I don't want to. Oh, that was definitely not what I wanted to do. There we go. Oh, now you're gonna be small. I want you to be big. Okay. No, you're not the correct Jeff. There we go. All right, I found you. Now I can start the timer in a second. Oh. Let me just take a moment to
Yep,
ground
you're fine.
myself and so I can devote my full attention to your chart. Some of what I said for Angela probably resonated with you too, because you have a defined goal.
Yes.
All right. What questions do you have for me, Lindsay? This is your chance.
I think my biggest thing was following into the profile and my cross. I think were kind of an interesting thing that I had fallen into when I discovered quantum human design. And I definitely kind of like Karen's version of a projector being an orchestrator. It made me feel a little less, I hate this. Why am I like this? Um, when I was starting to get in design too, I noticed that I have a couple more energy centers defined, but not the main one that would make me not a projector. So it makes
Mhm.
sense that like I do have a lot of energy. As you can tell, I have a lot of energy. But I have noticed that I'm really burning out a lot now. So the
Yeah.
burnout is hard. And then I feel like I can't rest well enough. And I'm wondering if it's because I'm sitting in bitterness. But I also have been doing a lot of Reiki. Stella, Reiki, and I got my Reiki 1 certification and I got certified as a Lemurian light healer. So I've been working on a lot of energy clearing. So
Mhm.
I've noticed that it was funny when I saw that my throat was defined because I have a lot of throat chakra issues. So I
Mhm.
have noticed that I've been more so speaking up for myself now and not holding things back and advocating for myself. I'm like, it's taken 35 years to do that, but I'm finally doing it. Um, so yeah,
Nice.
but I was really interested in the profile and my cross. Because I feel like it kind of fights being a projector a little bit, my my profile and my cross. So
Excuse me. It's funny because when I saw it, I was like, boy, that gives her a little bit of relief from the projector, from the projection field.
yeah.
Your profile, having the 1-4 profile and having that foundation, both in both like point like both of the
Mhm.
hexagrams, having that foundation really probably does provide a little bit of relief from the projection field, which you have in spades. Your projection field, yes, you're a projector, but also so I marked in my encyclopedia, in Karen's encyclopedia, your all of your channels. And so the 1020, or well, we'll start with the 1-8. No, let's start with the first one I got marked. Yeah, the 1020. So the 1020,
Mhm.
also known as the verbal gunslinger, that's a projected channel. The 1-8 here is a projected channel. The 3955 is not a projected channel. But the 3740 can be a projected channel. So you've got a lot of potential for projection fields happening around you through your channels in addition to your type.
Mhm.
And you've got a lot of energy feeding into that, like you want to do stuff.
Yeah. And I do it until I'm like, oh, now I need to go to bed. Or even
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I get enough sleep, but I'm not rested. And I find that an interesting thing. So I was like, is that is that a projector thing? Am I not resting like, is sleep not the rest I need? Is it something else? Or am I still dealing with a lot of bitterness because there is bitterness around my career? So it's very fascinating in kind of those ways.
I have a lot of questions related to that. Can you talk to me about your sleep schedule and sleep environment?
Um, my husband and I have our own blankets because we're blanket hogs. Um, so we also like different types of blankets, because we wrap ourselves up in like cocoons and we both move a lot. But I get about 7 hours of sleep, and I apparently lucid dream, and I'm trying to put a stop to it to allow me to sleep. I done it since I was a child. So that's something I'm really trying to just be like, hey guys, I don't want this right now because it takes me to some scary places sometimes that I'm like, I just want to sleep. I don't want to wake up from this horror movie you just had me in.
Mhm.
Thank you. But yeah, I think the lucid dreaming I think might be bothering that. And I think that's coming from bitterness too, because I've been in my career for over a decade and now I'm kind of hit a snag to where I'm like, I kind of think I want to switch my career, but I love what I do and it's a very creative field and but I'm like bitter about it. I thought I would be somewhere else, especially after getting my degree and my master's degree and I'm like I feel like I am where I am right now, where I feel like I should have been 8 years ago. So I think there's bitterness around that, and the throat chakra, finally speaking up and advocating for myself, I think has changed things. But then I remember reading my profile and my cross of contagion, and I was like, this doesn't sound like me, but I think it might be the me that I'm repressing. So
Well, okay.
just throw it all at you right
I've got a lot that I want to, I'm going to go try and go backwards through because there was a ton of stuff that I would like. Okay, so in terms of bitterness about feeling like you're not yourself,
now.
your conscious earth is in the 8, and this 1/8 channel is all about like being in yourself, like just being you, authentically you.
Mhm.
And the 10 really is too, or the 1020. The 1020 is, I mean, both of those are direct connections from the heart to the throat. The 1020, I have notes. It's a purely projected channel and incredibly verbal. Um, it's your ability to organize other people around the ideas of self-love and express self-love, and it can help people see your own self-love or not, right?
Yes.
If you're in the shadow, and being defensive and hurting others because of a lack of self-love. But the 1/8 is also all about like just yourself, just being the role model, the self-expression as like that your self-expression is your creative contribution. You're being yourself and your capacity to add to the world by being the fullest expression of being who you truly are. That's the 1/8. So the fact that you're feeling bitterness in these two highly projected channels because you don't feel like you're being yourself,
Mhm.
that makes a lot of sense. And it's not, and you're not feeling grounded because you're not getting grounded in the 8, which is you need to be grounded in the 8 to feel that. So the other thing, the other thing that grounds you is, oh, that's way too big. I don't want it that big, quite that big. And now it's back to where it was before. I want to see the numbers just slightly larger. Can we do that? No, maybe. All right, there we go. That'll be good enough. Um, the the 30 is the other thing that grounds you, and the 30 connects to the 41, which is it's the dreamer gate. So like having these lofty dreams about where you wanted or could have been or should have been,
Mhm.
like that makes sense that you're feeling ungrounded. I think, is part of what is going on here, is a lack of groundedness. And then your unconscious sun is the gate of commitment. And so that, again, is you're not committing to the right things. You're not involved in and regularly practicing and bringing your genius and your incredible insight as a projector to the right things. So you're not committing to the right things.
Okay.
And then the 14-1, the highest amount of energy that comes out of this chart is the sole purpose, the conscious gate of the sun is the 14, and that's the gate of allowing and reception and of the world giving to you, and of accepting and allowing the world to give to you whatever it is that you need, want, deserve, that you have a birthright of abundance for. So
that makes sense.
It's interesting that the 29, the 30, and the 14 are all on, they're all hanging gates. And so in order to activate most of your incarnation cross, you have to do it through relationship with other people. Because you've got to connect with other people to activate that incarnation cross.
Okay.
Lucid dreaming. When I looked at this chart, I was like, whoa, she's got like almost all of the mystical circuit. So have you heard of the mystical circuit before?
I have not.
Okay, so the mystical circuit is associated with things like seeing angels, lucid dreaming, like really like high intuitive abilities, like just really.
I was in the shower the other day and I've been astral traveling not on purpose as well.
Yes. Yeah. Non-purposeful astral projection.
Yep, I have not asked for that. And I was like, again, I'm like, that was scary. I will tell my coworker what you just showed me. It will make sense to her. Please do not bring that back. And I went and I had a Reiki healing afterwards. And I told my Reiki master, and she goes, some things came back with you. She's like, I wouldn't do this until you practice. I'm like, I didn't do it on purpose. So I'm trying to close those a little bit to spirit, just to bring me a teacher to teach me how to protect myself in this and to more so direct myself during it, because I was like, this isn't safe.
Yeah.
Yes. So it makes sense.
I also astral project. I astral project when I dissociate as a trauma response. And so, but I've gotten to the point that when I astral project, it takes me to places that I'm there to learn something that I need to know in my current healing journey.
Gotcha.
I don't know. I've only become aware that this is happening very recently. I'm sure I've been doing it my whole life, but I didn't know what was going on. So I can't say what happened before I got better at protecting my field. But yes, you absolutely need to work on protecting your field if that's what's happening, because you're going to pick up all sorts of junk that doesn't belong to you.
Yeah.
I mean, I still pick up junk that doesn't belong to me. I cleared my junk out right before we started the session. I'm like, all right, clear it all out. Let's get rid of all this stuff, because I need to be purely me for these people. And when I get off this call, I'm gonna do Reiki, and I'm gonna cut all the cords that I've established with both of you as we're talking through this. And I'm gonna cut. I'm gonna find them. Are there any cords left? Are there? And I'm not sure how this works for a projector. For me, as a generator type, I can ask, "Are there any cords left?" And I get a sacral response. And you're gonna have to figure out for you how that comes through, how that answer comes through. But yeah, you've got, so this here is the mystical circuit. The 2010 is a mystical circuit, is part of the mystical circuit. The 2551 is part of the mystical circuit. The 4037 is part of the mystical circuit. The 5539 is also part of the mystical circuit. So you've got almost, the only thing that you don't have is you don't have the 54 and you don't have the 51. Those are the only parts of the mystical circuit you don't have.
All right.
The fact that these things, Yeah, I mean, like the fact that these things are happening, yeah, it's because you have all this mystical circuitry, and you're here. It's not by accident that you have
Mhm.
that. That you're here to do important things with that. But yeah, you gotta you do. You have to wait for a guide, answers, and you gotta keep clearing and
I'm
yeah,
learning to,
when you're
I grew up suppressing a lot of my emotions. So I've learned that since I'm an emotional authority, I have to not repress what's happening. And I've noticed that in the last 2 weeks, letting the rage fly, because I usually repress that, I'm actually speaking clearer, and I think that's clearing out my throat chakra problems.
yeah, because
So,
what you speak, it's
mhm.
purely you.
Yeah, because I was at work and I spoke up about something and everyone goes, "Wow, you made really good points. You were very professional. You could tell you were frustrated, but you weren't like angry." And I'm like, "Oh, I was in a rage on the inside. I'm happy that didn't project on the outside." And then it's kind of funny too when I found out that I was an orchestrator because in college, my marketing professor looked at me one day and he went, "You're very good at manipulating people to do what's best for them." He's like, "They don't realize you're doing it, but you're very good at it." I'm like, I don't know how to take that." He's like, you don't do it in a bad way. You manipulate them to do the best that they can do. And I'm like, I guess that's the love circuit. Because I was looking at the connections and I was like, I guess that's what I do. But yeah, I'm like, I don't know how to take that. He goes, it's not a bad thing.
I
It's like, you're not
think
using it for
probably there partly what that is your undefined head and ajna.
evil.
Because you're probably able to pick up on what's going on in other people's minds very quickly.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
then having the 4037 allows you to create like agreements and negotiations and contracts very
Mhm.
effectively. And it's part of your consciousness. Like it's part of your conscious. Oh, it's interesting. It's your north and your south node. So like
Mhm.
it's really part of like your curriculum from grow like you're gonna grow into it even more after age 40. Uh,
Okay.
yeah, but when those words come out of you, that's not coming from the emotional solar plexus. That's coming from your heart.
Mm.
And you are emotionally defined, and you're emotionally defined from as an individual through the 3955 and collectively through the 4037. So what, and that is mostly just gonna, it's not necessarily, we don't, it's not necessarily emotions like anger. It's like I just don't I don't feel great today. I'm off today.
Mhm. Mhm.
Or I'm on top of the world today. And
Yeah.
it's a, and having two, so you have two distinct different waves. My guess is probably for the most part, your individual wave is going to be the predominant one, which is going to
Mhm.
have high highs and low lows. But when something's going on with your tribe,
Mhm.
then the tribal wave will kick in. And you'll run along with the tribe and the general malaise or excitement of your
Mhm.
people.
Okay.
Um, and then, when that dies down and isn't quite so intense, you'll go back to your individual wave. So that would be my interpretation. So when you're in those meetings and those
Mhm.
words are coming out of you, they're coming out from your heart. That's
Okay.
because
That
that's
makes
truly who you authentically are. They're
sense.
your authentic words.
Okay.
And so make sure, because these are both projected channels, that you are being invited to share those words
Yes,
by
I was.
people who value them,
Yes.
like, and value your genius.
Okay.
Because that's where the bitterness kicks in is
Yeah, I heard some feedback that they were shocked that I advocated for my team. That I called because I'm not one to do that. And I was like, no, I'm like, there were a lot of things that happened and I'm going to present it. And everyone's like, they're like, Lindsay, do you have anything to say? And I'm like, yes,
good.
I do. And I threw them out there in bullet points and then I gave solutions that would have worked better. And everyone was like, whoa, where did that come from? And I'm like, I needed, and I think it was because it wasn't just for myself, it was for my team that I think I
Mhm.
had more of a feeling of being like, no, I'm not gonna let this slide.
Well, you
So
have a decent amount of tribal circuitry. And so, yeah, you've got the 21, the 40, 37, the 44, and the 32 are all part of tribal circuitry. So you've got a decent amount of that's influencing your wanting to stand up for your
mm,
tribe. And if your tribe was feeling let down,
they were, and then they were like, wow, you said exactly what we wanted to say. And I got compliments from the rest of the team. They were like, thank you for speaking up. And yeah, so it
you
was
stepped into
the
your
bitterness started to
projector
go.
authority. Oh, that's beautiful. All right, I just got a couple seconds left. I want to talk really quick about sleep.
Yeah, sleep.
I know this is socially completely unconventional, but it works really well in my marriage. We don't sleep in the same room.
We don't always
I'm
fall asleep on the couch, so a good chunk of time.
yeah, I'm married to a projector, and since
Mhm,
we have done that, and we on and off did it, but like we didn't really formally say this is how we're doing it
mhm,
until very recently.
mhm.
Um, it really it didn't he gets much better sleep.
Okay. Yeah, my
Now that
husband's a manifesting generator, so
uh-huh. Yeah. So I would say
every once in a while when I really like down, like sleep in a separate room just to get my own energy, my own arc feel, just to be by itself.
I think that you're not getting restful sleep because you're sleeping with a manifesting generator. Does he
Mm.
have a defined head or ajna?
I ran him like forever ago, but I haven't looked at his chart in so long. I think he
You don't
does.
have to pull it.
Okay.
If he does, you're picking up on his energies
Okay.
in the defined head and ajna. You're just sucking them in and amplifying them.
Okay.
I would love to hear back from you in a month, and if after you spend a month sleeping in separate rooms, and see if the lucid dreaming stops.
Mm, I
Because
will.
my bet is that potentially you're picking up on his energies, and because you have all this mystical circuitry, you're amplifying those energies, whatever you're picking up from him. I wouldn't surprise me if he has a defined spleen too, because you're getting taken to some pretty scary stuff.
He has a defined uh is that the ajna here?
Yeah, the ajna is the second one down.
Okay. His splenic in the body graph is black. So does that mean it's
Yep.
undefined? The color. Okay, so his
Well, it is it colored in, or what are the colors? It's
they're he's got blue, brown, yellow, and red. And
oh, I
then
don't know what that
and
means.
then yeah, I'm
I
not
don't know
quite
what that
sure
means.
this color.
Okay, well, maybe we can run his chart and do this on another call.
Yes, right. We'll
But
do
it wouldn't surprise me if he has some of those defined and you're just picking up on his energy. So
okay.
I would say, yeah, try and potentially sleep separate. All
Okay.
right, we have 10 minutes left. Let's open up the forum, and let's all right. So we can talk about either of your charts or your charts combination. What do you want? What questions do you still have unanswered?
I'm good. If Angela has anything. Oh, you're still muted.
So I've made a pretty big switch, or I should say the universe has opened the door for me to make a change. I went from finance and accounting to now being a holistic career life coach. I really enjoy what I do and I want to expand on that more. Um, but again, the challenge is around the money, and I have some ideas around some things that I want to do. But is there
Mhm.
anything specific with the coaching and the holistic that speaks to the successes? People really do respond to the coaching and the feedback that I'm getting,
Mm,
but it's not as lucrative as what I was doing before.
right. Your strength in that is your open G center. Because I mean, for you, you are heavily defined. Like I have 7 centers defined, and I feel like I have a lot of centers defined, and you got 8 centers defined now with this new chart. That's a ton of energy. People with 8 centers defined, and especially people with 9 centers defined, even people like me with 7 centers defined, find it really hard to listen to people and actually hear what they have to say. But I feel like the like one exception to that rule is probably having the G center undefined. Because when you have the G center undefined, you can let the person you're with, their energy, just their whole being sink into you.
It does. And I was attributing that to the fact that I had the wide split. So when I
That's your
realized that
G
it's just
center.
the G and
Mhm.
that's still there, I said, okay, so that's how I'm able to receive people because I take people in very, very deeply when I'm dealing with them and responding to them, and they sense that from me. And so
Mhm.
I was like, well, if that's the one center that's open, that makes sense because I do get a lot of positive feedback from that. People feel that I have taken them in.
That's beautiful. Yeah, you're like embracing them in a warm hug. Like you just you amplify their energy of who they are, who their authentic self is, or maybe who their shadow self is. And you can see that. I mean, I think then that's where the power of all the other centers comes in, is like you can take in their energy, and then all this other power can come in and be like, okay, now what's not working?
Yeah.
Where are you not being authentic to yourself? Because I can feel that you're not being authentic to yourself because I can feel you. The other thing
Yes.
is, all on the G center, you have the gate 13 defined, and the gate 13 is the storytelling gate. And so people come to you, and especially if they have the 33 defined, their stories are just going to pour out of them. They're just going to just
Mm-hmm.
emote all of their
Mm-hmm.
stories to
Mm-hmm.
you.
I get that a lot. And I'm like, how did I get here? Like, I'll get people will share stuff with me, and it's like, I just came to get a stapler.
It's 13. It's 13 energy. The 13 energy is a storytelling energy. And it's also an
Mhm.
energy of forgiveness, of retelling. And that's probably partly why the Story Lab experience was so powerful for you, because
Yes.
you're able to tell stories that change reality,
Yes.
change the past, change the future through
Mhm.
that 13.
Mhm.
It's a gift.
Yeah.
It's a real gift.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. This has been awesome. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, it's really been fun. All
Yeah,
right.
thank you so much. This
Lindsay, do you want to ask one last question?
Um, I think my biggest thing is trying to figure out what my actual purpose is. Like I'm not
Mhm.
aligned with what I'm doing. I'm a photo stylist right now, and I love what I do, but I love that creativity of it, but I don't feel aligned in it anymore. So I'm trying to figure out what could I do better to connect with what I actually need to be aligned with this, this magical circuitry and pursuing the healing that I'm doing. So I'm like, I don't know. I feel lost.
Well, I've got 2 short answers for you.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
Short answer number 1, when you're ready, when the timing's right, when you feel the emotional vibration, you ride out your emotional wave, get your Reiki 2,
Okay.
and then get your Reiki 3.
Okay.
Because it will transform you.
Okay.
It will change you energetically each step of the way. I'm in Reiki 3 right now, and
Okay.
it's a wild ride. It's great, but
I
it
got
will
the Reiki
completely change
flu at Reiki 1. It was terrible.
you had what?
I had the Reiki flu
Yeah.
when I attuned for Reiki 1. It was a rough ride.
Mhm.
But
It
yes,
really is. And it's a good rough ride, right? So
I felt
that's
much
short
like
answer number 1. Short answer number 2, um, book a an hour-long reading with me, and we'll talk about your life purpose. Because that's an hour-long reading kind of thing.
Okay.
But we could totally do that.
Okay.
Yeah. So cool. Well, thank you both very much. And people that are watching this later on live stream, or maybe we have people watching now. I don't know. Do we have people watching now? Let me check.
Where do we go to see it? You say it's on YouTube. Where do we
It'll
go
be
on
on
YouTube?
YouTube in my channel. Oh, nobody would be watching right now because it's right now. Apparently it's broadcasting as private, which was not entirely what I intended to, but I will make it public. I will definitely make it public very shortly in the future, and I will send out the link to both of you so that you can easily find it.
Awesome.
Thank you.
And yeah, if people watching this want to do this, I'll have a link in the description, and they can go to my website and generate their charts, and then we can do this again. I'm not sure when. We'll see what the universe decides. All right. Thank you so much. Have a great night.
Bye.
And yeah, be
Thank you
brilliant.
so
Shine your light.
Yes,
All right.
yes. Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yeah. This was
Thank
amazing.
you.
Thank you so much. Bye,
Yeah,
guys.
it was really, really good. Bye bye. Nice to meet you, Lindsay. Bye bye.
You as well, Angela. Bye, Marie.